going to tell you a story about how spirit will talk to us and get messages to us. And sometimes we miss them because they can be very subliminal, but we have to watch. This is a personal story of mine. Um, Quite a number of years ago, I obviously moved from the UK to Australia and I had two children. They never got to meet my grandmother because she passed away when my youngest son was 7. And I hadn't It was shortly after that I took them back to the UK for the first time, but didn't want to travel with two young children. And I was very close to my grandmother growing up because I used to spend my summers with her. And she was known to all of us as Nanny White. Now, she didn't just have my boys and myself over in Australia, she also had a daughter, other grandchildren and great grandchildren. And every year she would, even though she'd never met any of these children, she would go to the bank and get a whole load of $10 notes. And every Christmas and birthday and Easter, they would each get a card from Nanny White with $10 in. And my son was convinced that she was Snow White. So he used to call her Snow White. And sadly, when he was about 7, we got the news that she had passed away. And I was devastated because I was very close to her and I hadn't been able to get back and see her in time. And my son said to his dad, I really want to go and buy mum a present. So off they went to the shops with his pocket money. And he found this little bowl. It was a little white bowl. And it was just freestanding on a shelf with no box or anything. And the lady at the store said, okay, I'm going to find its box. And she wrapped it up and they brought it home. And that box had a name. The gift had a name. So the bowl was called the Snow White Bowl. So you tell me that we don't get subliminal messages, the spirit of watching around us, when my son had called his grandmother Snow White and he was the only one that did it. And he went out and bought me a Snow White bowl when he couldn't read. And the label wasn't on the bowl until they'd had it put in the box. So I love that story. And just remember that spirit will always speak to you, but you have to look out for the signs. It's not always the white feathers and the butterflies. It is subliminal. It is very specific at times. It is music, it is words, it is the signs that we see every day, and we just have to look a little bit harder and open up a little bit more for them to send us the messages that we need. Take care.